Dolev, great to have you, man. So the recurring theme that we're seeing in the news today is breach after breach after breach after breach. Mm-hmm. What's more important? Pre-breach, breach containment, breach response? I want your thoughts.
Definitely breach containment. It's not I'm not going to say anything new when people say, hey, it's a matter of time. It is actually a matter of time. We've seen it in different ways. Having an instant response program is nice. Being able to know what you need to do at a time of the breach, it's great when you have a process in place. Usually, there's a pressure factor that prevents you from following that process properly. I think the things that matter the most is how you communicate to your customers, to your clients, and how you help them be successful at being part of this breach. You need to guide them and show them, okay, your data may be out there. How can you be more secure? If you take Facebook as an example, they were able to detect a breach because of a traffic spike. So you not only need to have the capabilities to detect, let alone prevent, but one thing they failed to mention is that Facebook is being used as an authentication method for other places as well, yes. Not just for Facebook as a social media platform. Mm-hmm. So being able to build a program where in the case of a breach, you are able to help your customers successfully save themselves from further damage because their credentials are all over the place and may be part of other systems as well. I think it's a key part to be successful at containing a breach as a company.
In the book, you talk a lot about brand and brand protection and how info security professionals are really in the business of brand protection. How do you coach a board as a technologist that there's a direct link between what you do as a security technologist and protecting a brand?
Right. So I've been lucky enough to have my CEO fully onboarded with security. That's not the case many times. I think today there is a lot more understanding of the risk when it comes to cybersecurity. My CEO is a great example. His approach is we need to be as good as the ones who are testing us, and we also need to be holding ourselves to their standard when it comes to protecting the company. If they suggest that you guys need to fix this because reason A and B, we need to do that because they have a high standard for security. I've been lucky enough to have this kind of management, but that's not always the case. I think you need to have their buy-in. That's not something new, but you also need to excite the software developers on security because they're going to be the ones who are helping you protect the company.
Excited software developers, it's a scary thought in and of itself. So along that line of thought, you start talking about pen testing your code, pen testing your environment, making sure things are secure, hiring third party, all of that good stuff. But talk to me about the ultimate third party, which is the world, the crowd. Talk to me about bug bounties and getting the public at large to pen test your code and the value of that, if any.
Right. So we are running our own bug bounty program. We're not using a third party at all. We're running it ourselves. It's a full-blown operation. We have people who triage requests that come in. We have people all over the world testing our apps constantly, continuously, 24/7. They are doing so many great things at a level that they know when your website changes, one of our website changes, and they know that this is a good time to test it. So they have a high standard, and we want to be able to respond efficiently, fix it efficiently. But there's good sides and bad sides to bug bounty because you put yourself in a position where you are stressed to fix things. That's something that you have to take into consideration. Also, things can go wrong when you handle random people on the internet. If it's payment, if it's the way we fix it, if it's maybe a duplicate, maybe we already knew about it and somebody reported it and he's now frustrated that he's not getting paid. So there's another possibilities for threats if somebody is not happy with how you handled his responsible disclosure.
Responsible disclosure is an intriguing concept, particularly as it pertains to breach. With the recent Facebook breach, a lot of people were concerned that they waited 3 days to disclose. What is the necessary criteria in your mind for responsibly disclosing a breach?
Responsibly disclosing a breach
Yes.
From the company side. It needs to be extremely fast, but you need to have enough answers for people's questions. It's a game against time. You need to do it extremely fast, but be prepared that people will throw a lot of questions at you and at how you practice things. What are you going to do? How are you going to be communicating it? Why didn't you apply these kind of countermeasures or those countermeasures? So there's no ideal answer to this. It's really about what kind of information you're deciding to give out once you actually decide to do the disclosure yourself.
And I'll flip it around on you. We talked about responsible disclosure of a breach if you're the company who's been breached. Talk to me about the criteria of responsible disclosure of a vulnerability or of a serious vulnerability in, say, a browser or something that affects public.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, sure. What's your criteria? What are the things you want to look at in terms of divulging something very common is vulnerable? Say you discover a Java or a Flash bug, and if this goes public, a number of people will find themselves in a breach condition. How do you responsibly disclose this? If you go to the vendor first, how do you go to the vendor? If the vendor doesn't respond, do you go public? Give me your idea.
Yeah. So on the technical side, there are mailing lists with senior people who've done that for a long, long time. So there's ways to get some assistance responsibly disclosing these bugs. Typically, browser bugs, you will be talking to either Google or Mozilla, so they have dedicated security teams who can responsibly disclose it once it's fully fixed. So there shouldn't be any problem getting that information and getting that assistance from them, because those are typically high-profile bugs that people will pay a lot of money on.
How do you feel about guys disclosing at DEFCON for the first time that they've broken the system or broken a browser or broken... A lot of vendors have problems with their code being on trial prior to them being notified. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, it's a very good question because there's a lot of fame involved.
Sure is.
And DEFCON is known to be like the place where you disclose the most serious bugs and the ones that get a lot of attention. Ideally, you want to present your bug when the company has already managed to fix it. Maybe not announce it, but fix it, so that once they announce it, there's already a patch available. I've seen cases where companies actually sued the person who was about to present at DEFCON just before DEFCON happened, and they had to cancel the presentation itself.
Insightful, man. Thanks a ton for this.
Thank you so much.